Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. Got Tuesdays with Charlie coming up later in the program.
Yeah, we do.
I already know what he's going to say. He was here this weekend and we were pre-recorded. I just want to make sure I tell people that so they don't think, oh, he's at the radio station. I'm going to go meet this guy today.
We actually got to record him in the studio for once,
I know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Oh, actually, I'm going to wait. That's the question for Charlie. A study by MSN.com found that having a wife for 50 years cost the average man $590,400 in restaurant dinners, vacations, and gifts.
I bet it's higher than that.
50 years, $590,000.
I would think it's higher than that.
But here's the thing they don't put on there. How much would it cost if this man was single and he had to, all of those home-cooked meals that this wife makes for him, if he had to go out and do all of those on his own? I bet it'd be more expensive.
I bet it'd be way more expensive if you never got married and were constantly dating somebody.
There you go.
Because then you're buying way more gifts. You're going out for dinner way more often, going to movies more often. See? Way more expensive.
It's the way we think around here. So much cheaper to be married. In a CBS News poll, Americans were twice as likely to view Islam favorably than Scientology. So that doesn't bode well for Scientology.
It really does not.
No, that's kind of crazy. Coming up, we got some special things happening today. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, January the 31st. Today's the last day of January. I mean, can you believe we're already done with the first month of 2017?
No, and you know why? Because I was supposed to lose a bunch of weight this month, and I haven't done. That's not true. I've lost 7 pounds.
We're going to do our New Year's
that's
resolution.
Not very good for a whole month.
We're starting over tomorrow, right?
Yeah, sure.
No, we're probably not. It is Appreciate Your Social Security Check Day. So for those of you who get a Social Security check, appreciate that because you probably those won't be around forever, most likely. So today is Appreciate Your Social Security Check Day. It is also Inspire Your Heart with Art Day. And it is Street Children Day today.
Okay.
So there you go. Inspire your heart with art. I like that. Of all of those, that's probably the one I'm going to have to celebrate. I'm going to just go stare at some art and smile.
Okay.
Look like a maniac or something.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
I probably won't do that with you.
All right. Well, I'll do that on my own. Thanks for listening on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John from the John and Heidi Show. Join me and my wife Heidi at 80s in the Sand, a week-long 80s event this November 11th through the 18th in beautiful Punta Cana. That's in the Dominican Republic. You'll get to meet and listen to 80s bands like Loverboy, Starship, Howard Jones, and many more. Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others. Get all of the details at 80sinthesand.com. Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person. That's 80sinthesand.com, promo code RADIO.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. One of the things that when I married into your family, I married into a very huggy family. You guys like to hug. I'm not a huggy kind of guy, but take a listen to this. I'm not this against hugging. No hugging is allowed on the playground for an elementary school in Canada. Donna Cormillo, principal of the Gimli Early Middle School in Gimli, Manitoba, said her students have been told to stop hugging and to reward each other by giving a pat on the back or shaking hands or high fives. So I'm going to pause right there before we finish the story and ask Heidi, do you think that makes sense or do you think that's just ludicrous?
Well, I mean, something must have happened where they had to implement that. So I'm sure they have a reason behind it. It's not like they just woke up one day and said nobody can be friendly anymore.
No hugs.
So something happened where they had to. Maybe a parent flipped out about something because parents are freaks.
Well, some parents kind of get a little weird, but let's resume the story now. She says hugging in the hallways is getting out of hand. It seems students were gathering in the morning and at recess, forming hug chains that were causing disruptions. So what is a hug chain?
I don't know.
This is happening in Canada. So Donna Cormillo, principal of the Gimli Early Middle School in Gimli, Manitoba. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody being, in trouble for hugging someone.
No.
Now I could see it if somebody didn't want to be hugged, but in the story it doesn't say anything about somebody hugging a kid that didn't want to be hugged. It doesn't mention the helicopter parents you're talking about that, hover too much and say, don't be hugging my kid.
That sounds kind of weird to me because I don't remember hugging all the time in middle school or forming hug chains in the hallways. That's weird.
I've never
So
heard.
they probably had to. It sounds like there was some stuff going on there that it's a bit off.
I think it all started with one kid. Hey, I'm new here. Want to get to know some people. Let's start a hug chain. You come over here, sweetie. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, all I can tell you is it's happening in Canada, and you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. A southeastern Pennsylvania man and a woman seeking leniency on public drunkenness fines that he hasn't paid now. And been cited for public drunkenness in the judge's office.
Oh, boy.
The pair visited Judge Romney Hartman's office in New Holland, Pennsylvania, responding to a warrant notice over fines that he owes for previously public drunkenness conviction.
Oh, my gosh.
He said, I just don't have the money to pay it. Somebody noticed that the two appeared a little bit tipsy. Police gave breathalyzer tests, and both had blood alcohol levels above the legal limit for driving. The boyfriend and girlfriend both got to plead guilty to new charges of public drunkenness. They were released in custody of a relative.
It sounds like they need help. They
They
need to
absolutely
be
do.
helped.
Because I'm saying, hey, we can't pay for the last public drunkenness charge, but we're going to show up in your office drunk as a skunk to tell you that. Oh, by the way, we drove here.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing about that was a good idea. So, and again, for people who have an addiction, addiction is no laughing matter. So there are people out there that would love to help you, and we would love to point you in the right direction. Coming up, we have your moment of da.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Police in Albertville, Alabama arrested a 37-year-old mother for endangering the welfare of a child when she allegedly let her 13-year-old daughter ride on the roof of their van in a cardboard box.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, it sounds like that's not safe, but she took some safety precautions, Heidi. Police received a call about a minivan on a state highway with a child on the roof in a cardboard box. The woman told the police, well, the box was too big to fit inside the van, and my daughter was inside the box to hold it down, but it's okay. It was perfectly safe. I secured it to the van with a clothes hanger. Really?
Oh, my gosh.
Hooked it with a clothes hanger? Fortunately, the daughter was not harmed, but she was turned over to relatives because mom got to go to jail. So
Yeah,
there
I would
you
hope
go.
so.
Can you imagine driving down the highway and seeing a kid sitting on the roof of a
Here's
van
the
in
thing.
a box?
Cardboard boxes fold down.
Yeah, and
You
They
could have
also-
put it in the vehicle.
they also, being a big flat surface, can think about an airplane wing.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of
It
thing.
would've-
Lift. There's lift, and
yes.
she
Oh
could have
my
very easily fallen into the
gosh.
ditch or onto the road, or it could
That
have
is
been,
really scary.
could have been really bad. That is your moment of da. Your scoop of the day is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Some places, maybe even around here, I have no idea, have taxed sugary drinks like soda and sports drinks. I know that there's taxes on that, like sales taxes, but I don't know if there's like additional taxes. Do you know? I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
Well, in France, now they're making it illegal to sell unlimited soft drinks at a fixed price or offer unlimited for free. So they're saying you can no longer get
that
free refills.
sucks.
That's in France. So one more reason that I don't necessarily need to go to France.
One more reason for them all to be cranky and bitter.
Didn't we just read a story about how angry they are in France?
They're so
this is probably
angry.
why. Yeah. No fun for you. Although I understand what they're going for there. A tongue twister is a phrase in which it's difficult to say, especially when repeated multiple times in rapid succession. 2013, a team of researchers at MIT, who clearly had nothing better to do, decided to come up with the hardest tongue twister, and they succeeded. What did they come up with? You ready for this, Heidi?
Sure. I can't wait. I am on the edge of my seat.
Here's the tongue twister that the brains at MIT came up with. Pad kid poured curd pulled cod. That doesn't even make sense. If you're
No.
going to just say a bunch of stupid words in a row, anything could be a tongue twister. Mm-hmm. How is that a tongue twister? Pad kid poured curd pulled cod.
Yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, it's difficult to say, but so are a variety of other random words that are just jammed together. That doesn't make any sense. Rubber baby buggy bumper, those kind of things were, when I was a kid, that's what a tongue twister was. Mm-hmm. But this thing doesn't even make any sense. So MIT, nice try. An Ohio burglar made himself at home. This is so funny. He broke into homes. I shouldn't think it's funny because it's sad, but he broke into homes in Youngstown, Ohio, and he brought his own food to cook during the break-ins, and he took showers.
So
he
bizarre.
broke into homes while he was there. He made himself a little bit of food. Didn't take any of their food, but brought his own food along and took a shower. So it's like the most polite burglar ever.
Was he homeless, maybe?
I don't know.
And just needed a place to prepare a meal and take a shower.
He's a 33-year-old
Was he stealing?
homeless man who brought his own food.
Oh, so he's
to cook.
homeless.
Yeah, so there you go.
So he
Crazy
wasn't
stuff.
hurting and he wasn't stealing anything. He didn't take their food. He just used a little bit of electricity, it sounds like, and a little bit of
Need to
water.
Zap some ramen noodles and I'll be on my way.
Poor guy.
Opening in theaters amid controversy over animal treatment on the set and calls for a boycott, A Dog's Purpose still managed to earn $18.4 million. The first place at the box office went to M. Night Shyamalan's multiple personality thriller. Second week in theaters, by the way. Hidden Figures came in a third. I don't know what that is. That's one of the things that really kind of stinks about not watching live TV. We record things, and then we buzz through stuff. I never know what movies are out. The only time I ever know what movies are out is if somebody shares it on Facebook or something. I'm like, oh, hey, that looks good. Mm-hmm. So it would be hard nowadays to promote movies because people don't, even when I rent movies, I don't watch the previews before the movies. I either skip them, and if they have one of those DVDs where they won't let you skip them, I fast forward through them.
Right.
And then I sit here and complain that I don't know what movies are coming out. Somehow I feel somewhat responsible for that. Will God determine who wins the Super Bowl this weekend, Heidi? According to a recent survey by Public Religion Research Institute and Religious News Service, millions of Americans think God will. A Christian Post report says the PRRI survey found millions of Americans see God's hand working in sports and believe God rewards athletes of faith. 53% of Americans and 56% of sports fans say God rewards athletes who have faith and good health and success. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't believe that's the case because a football team is made up of many players. Yeah. They can't all be men of faith, so that God is working to help all of them. How would that even be possible? There will be some men of faith on every team.
There you go. Here's my
right.
And again,
and I really think God has better things to worry about.
As a man of faith myself, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think there are other things that God is. I'm not saying God's not a sports fan. Maybe he is.
I mean, don't you think it would even itself out on all of the teams if he's helping the men of faith but punishing the men who are not of faith? Every single team would have people that are being punished teams, and people that are...
But fans as well, So it's not just the people on the team.
Yeah, I just think
it's interesting. I'd never really thought about it before, but 53% of Americans overall and 56% of sports fans think that, God's in the corner of their team, so...
Yeah, and against all the others.
Again, as a man of faith myself, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I just think it was interesting. I never really thought about it. So that big game is coming up this weekend. We're going to have to watch and see how that goes. Thanks for listening to the Scoop of the Day on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little thing we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
Good morning.
Wait a minute. You're not on the phone?
No.
How you doing in the studio, Charlie?
This is only about the second time I've ever been allowed in here.
I know. Well, and we got to make sure we let everybody know he's not here right now on Tuesday. We recorded this over the weekend. I don't want people to mob the radio station and
looking for autographs,
cause traffic problems, and it wouldn't be good. So, what kind of cool stuff are we going to learn, Charlie?
You know I can't write, so I can't sign no autographs.
So, what kind of cool things are we going to learn?
Hey, you like Forrest Gump, the movie?
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Did you know the photos shown in Forrest with his eyes are closed?
Yeah, I did notice that.
I didn't notice that. I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure why they did that, but every one of the pictures, like he was on the cover of a magazine with his eyes closed, and every single picture of him, his eyes were closed.
I didn't know that. There's a lot of things I don't know.
Huh.
But now you know.
I never really paid attention.
Hey, we can try this later as soon as we get off the air here. If you pour a handful of salt inside a full glass of water, the water level will actually go down rather than overflowing the glass.
No kidding.
We're going to try that.
I think we should.
That's like trying to lick your elbows and stuff.
When we're done with that, you can try to lick my elbow. Oh, wait. That's not how that works?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Hey, 100-pound woman in stiletto heels. What's that, them little things?
Yeah,
They're
high heels.
really, really high heels.
Do you know that they exert more pressure on the ground than a 600-pound elephant?
No kidding.
6,000-pound elephant.
So more pressure per square inch then?
There you go.
Probably,
That's must be a science lesson for today.
There we go. We learned something now.
Well, we always learn something. Hey, the word gorilla. You know what that means?
Gorilla?
Gorilla. It's like Gorilla Glue.
Yeah.
It's a Greek word that means a tribe of hairy women.
Does it really?
Oh,
Somebody, I like that, hairy women.
that's interesting.
I'm going to go out and give me a hairy woman.
First time I noticed, all of his stuff is handwritten. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So he does make this up right before we show it.
Yes, I do. My staff left me. So hey, then, only in the United States, staged wrestling is called professional wrestling, and real wrestling is called amateur wrestling.
I never thought about that before, but that makes sense. You're right.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, that's backwards.
Well, you'd think so.
It should be the other way around.
Yeah, it should be the other way around.
Oh, well, we're kind of weird. Hey, then Russian scientists have developed a new drug that prolongs drunkenness and enhances intoxication.
Oh, awesome.
Got to get some of that.
Can we get that here?
Isn't that usually the exact opposite effect that most people would like it? They take pills to make that stuff go away.
No, that's the hangovers that you want to go away.
Huh.
Hey, then I got one last thing here for you.
All right, what's that?
You know Google.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Okay. They offer their employees free condoms that come in blue, red, green, and yellow and have the phrase, "I'm feeling lucky," printed on them.
Do they really?
That's
I'm
a
going to work
perk,
for
I guess.
Google.
I guess I don't know why. Why would they do that?
I wonder if the printing process decreases the effectiveness of those condoms. They would have to use something to print onto those condoms. Wouldn't that melt the rubber?
I have no idea.
They'd probably have to abbreviate on mine.
Charlie.
Well, tell it like it is.
Are you ready for your question, Charlie?
Sure.
Okay. What is the Michelin Tire Man's real name? Do you know?
Bob.
No, it starts with a B though. It's Bidendum. Bidendum. How would you say that? Bibendum?
Bibendum.
Bibendum.
Well, that's stupid.
That's his real name. But we all know him as the Michelin Tire Man. So there you go.
Bimmeladum.
Something like that. Let's just call him Bob. We'll go with your name.
I like that better.
He was right. He was right after all. Well, it's good to have you in the studio today, Charlie.
Well, you guys drinking coffee? I got a Bloody Mary here.
Nice.
He knows what he's
He
doing.
knows how
right
to
there.
start the day.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm on
Well-
vacation.
Well, thanks for visiting us, and we'll call you next week.
We'll do that. Maybe I'll come back to the studio next week.
Hey, that'd
That'd
be
be
fun.
awesome. You should come every week.
You're welcome all the time.
Oh, yeah, you say that on the air. But you don't mean it.
He
All
comes
right.
here, the doors are locked, the lights are off.
Guys, let me in. All right. We'll talk to you next week,
Bye,
Charlie.
Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Again, my father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can. A little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
John and Heidi.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? No one knows your loved ones better than you do, and no one knows senior living better than A Place for Mom. They've helped thousands of families find the right place for their loved ones. The Senior Living Advisors at A Place for Mom partner with thousands of families every month, listening and offering local knowledge and advice to help find the best senior living communities across the country. Call 1-800-471-5173. That's 1-800-471-5173.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The ultrasound technology called Doppler, it's used in weather mapping, but it's also used in brain surgery and cardiology. So there you go. They can tell you what the forecast is going to be like for your heart, apparently. I'm
That's
not sure.
interesting.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Zorro is a Spanish word. What does it mean?
Masked man.
Fox. Zorro means fox.
Ah.
Now you know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
John Larroquette, the night court actor. He was the narrator of the B horror flick Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1975.
Really?
I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that
Didn't
either.
know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
According to the American Film Institute, the #1 movie song of the last 100 years is Over the Rainbow. That movie is from The Wizard of Oz, by the way.
Yes,
That
I
song-
never liked that movie.
That song almost got cut, by the way. That wasn't even going to be a part of it. And I bet they're glad they put it in there now. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Cullinan diamond is the largest gem-quality diamond ever discovered. Found in 1905, the original 3,100 carats were cut to make a jewel for the British Crown Jewels and the British royal family's collection. So, 3,100 carats.
That's amazing.
It's a big old diamond. And this has been a couple of fun facts on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Ways to know you're really a mom. Now I have to ask Heidi if any of these things are accurate. You know you're really a mom when you count the sprinkles on each kid's cupcake to make sure they're the same. You ever do that kind of thing?
No, our kids don't like sprinkles. Neither one of them.
But you've done other things like that. You're like,
Oh, they have to be the same. Christmas presents, they have to have the same number of presents.
I remember a couple years ago, it's been a while back now, we built a home. And that is truly one of the most stressful things you'll ever go through, by the way, is building a home.
Yeah.
But I remember when we built our home, we had to make sure that the bedrooms were the exact same amount of square
size.
footage. So they had the exact same plan. One was just flipped.
The only way we could have made that better is if they were both on the same side of the house, because they were always jealous of each other's view.
I know. I'm like, just trade rooms then.
Yeah.
So, another one. Ways to know that you're really a mom. You hide in the bathroom to be alone. Have you ever done that?
Yes.
You come home
I have
and you're
done
like, see ya. Where's
I've
Mom?
also hidden in the pantry to eat chocolate so I didn't have to share. That's just as much from you as it is from the kids.
It's probably more from me. Another way to know if you're really a mom, if your child has ever thrown up and you've caught it. Have you ever done that?
No.
You would dive out of it the way, wouldn't you? If someone else's kid throws up at a party and you keep eating. Was there a spider that just landed on my microphone?
I didn't
This
see
tiny
one.
little guy right there. This is a little itty bitty one. You fast forward through scenes when the hunter shoots Bambi. You ever do that?
No.
Your child insists that you read Once Upon a Potty out loud in the lobby of a doctor's office, and you do it. You hire a sitter because you haven't been out with your husband in ages, and you spend half the night talking about the kids and checking in on the kids. You hope ketchup is a vegetable because it's the only thing your child eats. And then the last way to know that you are for sure a mom, you stop criticizing the way your mother raised you. All of a
There
sudden,
you
she's starting
go.
to make sense. I got a little guest on
Yeah,
the
you
microphone
need to
here.
kill that. We
All
have to
right.
go.
Yeah, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. And I learned my lesson a few weeks back. When
Let's just get it killed, please.
We'll do that off the air. It's time for spider homicide. That's not good. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
Only 2 in 10 Americans say they're ready for the unthinkable. Are you ready for a natural disaster? What would happen if you were not able to go out to get food for your family during extreme weather? How long would you be okay without power and without access to get more food? Wise Company has the ultimate emergency preparedness pack with enough emergency food kits for a week, or upgrade to be prepared for a month or longer. Call toll-free 888-552-3759. It pays to be prepared. Learn more at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Scavenging for food almost killed a little kitty cat. Listen to this. You ever heard curiosity killed the cat?
Yes.
It almost happened. His head got wedged inside an empty can of cat food. Unable to free himself, the frantic feline began hurling himself against a garden fence. Would have knocked himself silly if the animal welfare officers hadn't arrived on the scene. Rescuers captured the cat, nicknamed him Tinny, and took him to a veterinarian. They had to use a lubricant to free the cat. So get him, his head was wedged in there pretty darn good. So that's kind of crazy. Never really thought about that before.
I wonder why they didn't just cut the tin.
Well, I suppose they figured, hey, let's try this first, and they were able to get that off. So, but, that's something to keep in mind when you're disposing of cans, to put them somewhere the cat can't stick their head in the can. I would have never even thought that was possible, but there it is.
Poor thing must have been so afraid.
Yeah, most likely. Coming up, we've got some more fun things to talk about on this Tuesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
God truly works in mysterious ways, including using a dog to restore a girl's sight. 24-year-old Lisa Reed lost her sight when she was 14. According to the New Zealand Herald, the Auckland native has regained her sight after having a collision with a coffee table. So that's kind of crazy. 10 years after being told that she would be blind forever, she knocked her head while bending down to kiss her guide dog goodnight. When she woke up the next morning, she could see. Doctors could offer no explanation for the recovery, but said Reed has regained 80% of the sight in her left eye.
Oh, that's nuts.
Unsure if her sight would last, Reed wanted to wait a few hours before calling her mother and reading aloud to her the prose that she could see again. So, I don't know what that means exactly, but she called her mom to say, hey, guess what? I can see. And she's like, let me read this to you. So, that's kind of cool. It's very cool. So, it kind of reminds me of, was it Christmas Vacation, where he's like, kicked by a mule, eyes go cross, fell down a well, eyes go. So, this girl, don't know what it was that led to her losing her sight 10 years ago, but now at age 24, 10 years later, hits her head on a table and she can see. That is absolutely crazy.
That is phenomenal.
Coming up, we're going to talk about one of the grossest world records I've ever heard of. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Do you shop online? Do you like to save money? Save money with Honey. Let me explain. Honey is a really smart tool that's free to use. I'm not really an online shopper. I get as many things locally as possible, but there are some things you can only buy online. So when I heard about Honey, I thought, what the heck? It's free. I'll give it a shot. The very first time I used it was for a domain name. It's usually $12.99. Honey searched the internet and found me a discount code, so I bought it from the same exact website for just 99 cents. So I saved $12. It's absolutely free, so what do you have to lose? Check it out at SaveMoneyWithHoney.com. There's some people out there that think it would be so cool to have a world record. Okay, I'll admit I'm one of those people.
You are one of those people.
But I'm not going to try to beat this guy's world record. I think this is just disgusting. Props to Radhat Bajpai of India. And I'm sure I probably nailed that name. He's the title holder for what has to be one of the weirdest and grossest world records of all time. The longest ear hair.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Rad has hairs sprouting from his ears that are 5.2 inches long. That astonishing length was confirmed for the Guinness Book of World Records by doctors. Rad uses a special shampoo and has stopped wearing rings and necklaces so he does not damage his pride and joy. He told reporters, making it to the Guinness World Records is indeed a special occasion for me and my family. God has been very kind to me. End quote.
He has a family?
Apparently.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he started growing the ear hairs after he got married.
That is just nasty.
Either that or who knows? Maybe where he lives in India, maybe ear hairs are,
sign of masculinity or something.
Or at least maybe they're not quite as gross as they are here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while, my wife over here makes me trim my ear hairs.
Yeah, I'm like, you need to go and do something about that.
She bought me special clippers just for them because for those of you who are younger men, just so you know, someday you will have ear hairs growing from your ears and nose hairs growing from your nose.
Why is that? What is up with that?
I don't know. Whatever it is, I could probably beat this dude's record in like 2 months if I just wouldn't shave those. 5.2 inches. Come on, rookie. So I don't know why that is, but my ear hairs grow really fast.
Yeah, they do.
So I got to shave inside my ears.
So gross.
And inside of my nose. So I don't know.
So gross.
Am I the only one? Am I grossing people out? I am so sorry. I appreciate you hanging in there and listening on a Tuesday. Guess what? We've got some good news on the way. We'll end with that in just a bit.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and good news comes in many different forms and many different fashions. Sometimes it's good news. It's just like amazing, awesome, crazy good news. And there's other times where it's just, to me, it's just like unbelievable good news.
Right.
And that's kind of what this is today. It's just something where you look at it and go, I don't know how you could explain this, but it's really interesting. A Mississippi Christian university that was hit hard by a devastating tornado received several reminders of God's protection. Take a listen to this. William Carey University in Hattiesburg, again, this is in Mississippi, suffered extensive damage, but thankfully nobody was killed, which right there, that's already a blessing. So if we could walk away from this story right now, we'd say, hey, that's amazing. Yep. Nobody was hurt. All of this damage, nobody was killed. But there was extensive damage to their chapel on campus. But listen to this, Heidi. The Bible that was left on the pulpit was undisturbed, and it was open to Psalm 46 that says, God is our refuge and strengthens us in times of trouble. Oh. And it was flipped open right to that page and was undamaged. Everything around it was destroyed, but this was sitting there undamaged. I think that's really cool. Also, in the middle of the devastation on campus, a statue of Jesus survived, surrounded by debris, but untouched by the tornado. So it was sitting exactly where it belonged. Other things that had, flown in from all over the place from this tornado. I think that's really kind of cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
When I was a kid, we were camping one time, and we were camping on a lake that they say it was high winds the night before, but others said it was a tornado. It was dark out. Nobody saw a tornado. But the thing that was crazy, our tennis shoes had been wet from swimming the night before, get in the water. Our tennis shoes were like a mile away, but there were empty cans that were sitting in the back of our truck that didn't move. How crazy is that? Mm-hmm. So, this empty aluminum can, beer cans and pop cans, didn't move, but the tennis shoes that weigh much more were thrown, way up the road. So it was tornadoes.
Remember that was on Twister when had those empty. They had those things, and the tornado wouldn't pick those up. And so they had to weigh them down, and they have to put them inside of a giant thing in order for them to be picked up so the tornado could read what they were saying.
And they screwed like a little aluminum
because the thing busted open and those balls or whatever rolled all over the road, and the tornado didn't pick them up, and so they didn't get the data they wanted. Remember?
Based on the true story of Twister.
Well, I'm just saying.
I know what you mean.
They clearly have done some research on that to put it in the movie. And,
I agree.
And
Dorothy
it doesn't apparently pick up empty
it's crazy.
cans.
Absolutely crazy. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. If you'd like to read more about the story that we were just talking about before we got to Twister and my family story, that's online. The other stuff, if you missed it, you missed it. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.